Section 7.7 was multiplying polynomials. We already talked about multiplying polynomials using the FOIL method. I just want to do a quick review. You multiply the first times the first, so that's 2x times x is 2x squared. Your outside term is 10x. Your inside term is a plus 3x. And your last is, again, we multiply 3 times 5 and get 15. Combine your two middle terms, and you get 2x squared plus 13x plus 15. In example 3a, a contractor is building a deck around a swimming pool. The deck is x feet around every side of the pool. Write an expression for the total area of the deck. Okay, so if the pool is 20 feet long, we have the sidewalk here, and we have the sidewalk here. From here to here, the length of the sidewalk is x. From here to here, the length of the sidewalk is also x. So we have the total length would be this x and this x. So it would be 2x plus 20. The width would be this x and this x. So it's 2x plus 15. So to find the area, we would multiply length times width. The length is 2x plus 20, and the width is 2x plus 15. And we would do the FOIL method. The first is 4x squared. The outside term is 30x. The inside term is 40x, plus the last is 15 times 20. It's 300. So that's 4x squared plus 30x plus, oh wait a minute, we would combine and get 70x plus 300. Example B, if the pool was 25 feet long instead of 20, then the area of the length plus the sidewalk would be 2x plus 25, and the width would be 2x plus 20. And again, we would multiply using the FOIL method, 2x plus 25 times 2x plus 20. So that's 4x squared plus 40x plus 50x plus 500. So the area is 4x squared plus 90x plus 500. Example 3, we are multiplying a binomial times a trinomial. When you multiply a binomial times a trinomial, basically it's doing the distributive property 2 times. We have to first multiply 2x times each term in that trinomial. So we get 12x cubed. Now be very careful about that. Remember, when you multiply variables, you add the exponents. That's an x to the 1 power. So x to the 1 times x squared is x cubed. Then we're going to multiply 6x minus a negative 3x is a negative 18x squared. Then we multiply 6x times a negative 5 and we get negative 30x. Okay, now we're going to distribute the 5 times each thing. So that's 10x squared minus 15x minus 25. Combine like terms. And also when you combine like terms, you also put it in descending order. Negative x squared and a positive 10x squared is a negative 8x squared. Negative 30x and a negative 15 is a negative 45x. I don't have anything to combine the 25 with, the negative 25 with, so I bring it down. Example B, we're going to distribute again. We get 6x cubed plus 21x squared minus 24x. And then we're going to do the distributive property again by multiplying the negative 5 times everything. And get negative 10x squared minus 35x. And at negative 5 times a negative 8 is a positive 40. Be very careful about your negative. Combine like terms. 21x squared and a negative 10x squared is a positive 11x squared. Negative 24x and negative 35x is a negative 59x. Bring down the positive 40. Now in example C, we have a trinomial times a trinomial, so we're going to have to do the distributive property 3 times. We first multiply 2y squared times 3y squared and get 6y to the 4th. Then we get negative 10y to the 3rd plus 4y to the 2nd. Now we're going to do the distributive property again, multiplying 3y times everything. And again, make sure you're very careful. Y times y squared is y to the 3rd. So that's 9y to the 3rd minus 15y squared plus 6y. Okay, now we're going to multiply negative 1 times everything. Be very careful. Negative 1 times a negative 5y is a positive 5y minus 2. Combine like terms, and again, put in descending order. I don't have anything to combine the 6y to the 4th with, so I'll just bring it down. Negative 10y cubed and a positive 9y cubed is a negative 1y cubed. Negative 1 and a negative 3 is a negative 4y. Oh, wait a minute, that's not a cubed. Never mind. Be careful about that. So negative 10y cubed and negative 10y cubed and 9y cubed is the negative 1y cubed, or you can just say negative y cubed. 4y squared and a negative 3y squared is a positive 1y squared. And don't forget the negative 15y squared. So that gives us a negative 14y squared. 6y and 5y is 11y minus, and then bring down the minus 2. So when you have a trinomial times a trinomial, you have to be very careful. As you can see, it's very easy to make a mistake. Okay, example D, that's 4m to the 4th minus 7m cubed. Again, be very careful. M squared times m is m cubed plus m to the 2nd. Now we're going to multiply 2m times everything, and I get 8m to the 3rd minus 17m squared plus 10m Okay, now we're going to distribute the negative 3 times everything. So that's negative 12m squared plus 21m minus 15. I don't have anything to combine the 4m to the 4th with, so I'll just bring it down. I'll put a line through it so I know that I've already used it. Negative 7m to the 3rd and a positive 8m to the 3rd is a positive 1m to the 3rd. 5m squared and a negative 14m squared is a negative 9. And then a negative 12 is a negative 21m squared. 10m and 21m is 31m. And bring down the minus 15. Okay, example 7.8 is dealing with special products. Be very careful about this, and if you cannot remember the shortcut, then don't do the shortcut. a plus b quantity squared, that means there's two of those binomials, a plus b times a plus b. You can write it twice and just do the FOIL method. Or the shortcut is square the first term, multiply the second step, multiply the two terms together, and double it. Double means add it again to itself. Step 3, square the last term. Everyone always remembers the first step and the third step. It's the second step that everyone forgets. If you are not sure, then write it out. Write the binomial twice and do the FOIL method. But we're going to do the shortcut for this. Example 1, we're going to square the first term. It's 9x squared. Step 2, multiply the two terms together. 3x times 5 is a positive 15x. And then we're going to double it. Doubling 15x, that's 15x plus 15x is 30x. Step 3, square the last term. Example 1b, we're going to square the first term. Multiply these two together. AC times 3d is 24cd. And then we're going to double it, meaning it's a positive 48cd. And then square the last term is 9d squared. Example 1c, we're going to square the first term. Multiply these two together, that's 12xy. Double it, gives you 24xy. And then square the last term, which gives you 16y squared. When you have a difference of a square of a difference, it's basically the same thing, except for instead of it was a plus sign in the parentheses, it's a minus. We square the first term. Multiply these two together. Now, negative 2 times a negative 5y is a negative 10xy. Double it gives us a negative 20xy. And then square the last term. Negative 5 squared is a positive 25y squared. Be very careful about that, because anytime you square a negative, you get a positive. Example 2b, we're going to square the first term. Multiply these two together. That's a negative 6p. Double it. Gives us a negative 12p. And then we're going to square the last term. Now make sure you're very careful about here. Be careful about this. Negative 1 squared is a positive 1. Product of a sum or difference, we just do the FOIL method. And when we do that, we get a squared. Your outside is a positive ab. Your inside is a negative ab. Your square last term is a negative b squared. Look what happens. I should say positive ab. Your middle term and your two middle terms go away. So anytime you are multiplying two binomials that are exactly the same, but one's positive, one negative, the middle term goes away, the two middle terms, so you can skip the outer and the inner. Let's FOIL this one out altogether. We get 4x squared. Your outside is a negative 6x squared. Your inside is a positive 6x squared. And your last is a negative 9. Notice your outer and your inner goes away. So, can you skip those two steps? Yes, if you see that they are identical binomials except for one is positive, one is negative. Example 4b. I see that these are exactly identical binomials except for their opposite signs, so I'm just going to do the first and the last. Example 4c, I'm going to just do the first and the last. You get 16c squared and a negative 49d squared. This is your homework. On the next panel, I started you on number 24. It's talking about a garden with the sidewalk all the way around. If you will notice a sidewalk, this is part of the sidewalk and this is part of the sidewalk. This is the garden. So it's 2x plus 8, and then the length is 2x plus 6. To find the area, you would do the length times the width. So we would multiply 2x plus 8 times 2x plus 6. And you can finish the rest.